Welcome to Friday Flows. What a crazy week it's been since last did flows. Crypto markets are falling apart, bankruptcies, CEOs resigning, equities absolutely exploded yesterday. Um, from a flow standpoint, you might expect the investors were chasing those returns, chasing the markets, or pushing the markets, however you want to look at it. Um, over the last week, over $16 billion going to equity. Fixed income also had a big number, over 5 billion going to in fixed income. So just a big number overall over the past week of investors uh, getting invested. But as you can see, yesterday being the big boon for equities, over 12 billion of the 16 billion on the week came yesterday. So just a huge day. I don't think I've seen that big of a day. Maybe there was a couple during the 2020 run up from the bottom. There might have been a couple days like that, but that is a massive day. From a sector standpoint, what did well over the last week? American equity broad. That is, that's where the money went. Again, for the week, 10 billion. Actually, all of that came yesterday. So it was actually down on the week before yesterday. And just kind of see what the moves on yesterday, over 10 billion into equities. And then this is an interesting one. Not only is it 10 billion into equities, but then we're going to throw another 1 billion into the high yield munis. But again, another one on the week where all the movement came in one day. So just kind of a strange mix of high yield munis and broad equity, the most performing. But again, that one day jump is I haven't seen one like that since, again, maybe since 2020. Overall, in the individual names, what did well? QQQ. That is one that obviously took advantage of the inflation number going down a little bit. People are jumping into tech. That's kind of been an interest rate move of why it sold off, and then also while it looks like it's coming back. SPY on the losing side, down 2.4 billion. Before yesterday, that was $10 billion on the week that investors had pulled from SPY. So again, before yesterday, investors were still pretty or pulling assets off the table and moving them, from equities. But that changed, and that changed in a big way yesterday. From Invesco, they also had a big bump yesterday, over 1.5 billion. But they even before that, there was 3 billion that had gone into that for the week. So still a big move, and a lot of that has to do with interest rates. So I want to go ahead and jump into QQQ and kind of show you how that's moved over the last month or so. So the Fed announced that they're going to raise interest rates another 75 basis points on the 27th. Immediately, flows started flowing out of that, as it kind of does or has been this year. Anytime interest rates have been announced, there's flows out of this. And again, thinking that it's going to hurt the tech sector. And flows were pretty heavy for a couple days. And then we got the big number yesterday that inflation maybe looks like it's cooling a bit, a tiny bit. But that's all it took for investors to jump in over this past week. So just kind of a unique of how they kind of jump in. I think this is all just Fed inflation based of leaving and coming back into it. Now, whether they're right or wrong, we'll see as the Fed continues to make moves. On the SPY, a little bit different. Fed decisions people aren't making huge decisions based on their equity allocation, typically based on that. But they did have steady outflows on the week. Again, just kind of overall negative sentiment in the market. But then a huge number yesterday, over 4.2 billion. But this fund has huge days like that fairly often. So just this month or the last 30 days, a 5.3 day, 4.4 day, 4.8 day. So, when investors decide to jump in, they typically jump in big. That was the day before the Fed movement. That was the day after or the day of. So it kind of gives you investors try to make moves early, thinking that they're going to take advantage of announcements like that. But that's more pronounced in the QQQ here. That's again, I think interest rates affects from a growth standpoint there. So anyway, just really crazy week. Again, crypto was beat up uh, immensely, but investors in general were still feeling very bullish. And now we'll see what happens going into next week. But they followed up yesterday with a solid day as well. So today, so we'll see if that continues or if the markets give back some of this over the next week. That would not surprise me one bit if that did happen. So anyway, I hope you have a good weekend. I hope this was informative, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.